Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Finally, I will have a material for white pieces. The majority of my recent publications were dedicated to black pieces, which is of course much easier nowadays. But today my topic is a very powerful and strong solution against Alekhine Defense. Why I decided to pick up this opening? No doubt this is not the most popular opening, although the popularity, it's getting more and more popular nowadays. But what I noticed from my coaching experience, mainly coaching the range of my students 1800 to 2400, not many having a really strong systems against Alekhine Defense, rather hoping to have some just normal setup and having just a normal game. But somehow it appears that black is getting pretty reasonable positions out of the opening, and they always ask me what I would suggest in order to improve white play. So this video will give you a very strong repertoire against Alekhine Defense. As you know, always it will be very detailed coverage, something that you study once, and I think it will carry out for you for many years ahead. Before we are moving to the material, I would like to remind you, please don't forget to like, subscribe to my YouTube channel, like my video, subscribe to YouTube channel. It's highly recommended to click on notification bell, so you will be the first one to notified once my materials are published. And of course, you are very welcome to leave any comments that you have on this video and suggest maybe new ideas. Now, let's move on to the material. So, e4, knight f6, this is the starting position. Of course, e5, knight d5, d4, well, that's a pretty clear choice. And now, one of the main lines, obviously, knight f3, but we go with the move c4, knight b6. I'm not entering f4, super sharp lines, but I rather choose ed6, and I like this choice because actually we'll move into the very positional play, but white will enjoy space advantage, and basically black has a very problematic knight on b6, and that's the main positional goal of my variation. Now, after ed6, it's a crossroad for black. There are two recaptures. Now we'll start first with the move ed6, which considered to be more safe, but maybe somewhat more passive for black. So here I used to have different opinions here, different setups, but my final solution here would be move h3. I believe that's the most precise move order and precise setup for white. Now there are different moves here for black, but I'll just mention a very main line, which is bishop e7, knight f3, castle. Now, if black decides to develop his light square bishop, so we're happy to trade this. So we'll play bishop d3, exchange bishops, castle, and after knight c6, a very nice and very precise move, bishop f4. And again, we just enjoy very significant space advantage. Knight on b6, very problematic, and this type of play overall, I think it's very unpleasant, very annoying for Alekhine players who are really searching for active counterplay. Now, so that's the one line. Now going back all the way, and castle is the main move, and we just develop normally. Bishop d3, knight c6, knight c3. Now again, crossroad, different lines. Bishop f6 is the main move. Now, immediately when you see this position, probably it raises the question, oh, what happens about after knight b4? But the point is that we can just retreat bishop b1, and black cannot really grab the pawn, because after a3, knight c6, queen d3, we win a full piece. And so going back to the line, after knight c3, main move is bishop f6, and it's very important, we don't need to protect the pawn on d4 yet, so we just play castle. with the main point being that if black decides to simplify with knight d4, bishop d4, obviously we have these simple tactics, bishop h7, king h7, queen d4, and despite simplifications and opposite color bishops, actually black position very problematic. Now we are able to create strong initiative on the king side, taking advantage of vulnerable position of black king, as well as still knight on b6 pretty much off. Now, so the majority of the games here feature rook e8, although I had a coverage of two other moves besides knight d4, and now a nice discovery that bishop c2 actually the most precise move. Once again, tactically, pawn on c4 is untouchable. There is queen d3 move, let's say a5 and a3, and we just keep going positionally, g6, bishop b3, for instance. So we just maintain a very nice positional edge with with nice control of the center. So that's basically the line that I would like to mention after ed6. Now cd6 considered to be a more active option for black, and now my suggestion is to play knight c3. Many different moves here, but the main move clearly g6. And now I used to think that bishop e3, bishop g7, rook c1, castle b3 must play for white, and it's been my recommendation for many years. But lately I changed my mind because black appears to be doing pretty well even after e5. My idea in this position nowadays is different, just to play knight f3, bishop g7, h3, covering g4 square, not allowing bishop g4 move, castle, and bishop e2. Just seemingly a very simple chess, but it's very strong, guys. I promise you, it's very powerful. Knight c6, probably the most natural move, although there is a coverage of all decent alternatives for black, and we play castle. Bishop f5 is the main move. I would like to highlight the following idea. Whenever black plays e5, it's always a recurring pattern. Here we strike bishop g5, inducing f6, and then we play bishop e3, and it appears that this bishop on g7 now is not working, and white is significantly better in this type of positions. Now bishop f5, the main line. So once black played bishop f5, everything is ready for the move d6, d5, a very thematic idea for black, but white strikes first with move d5. With a key point here, knight a5, we actually sacrifice c4 pawn. We play knight d4. Critical line is knight c4 because, well, if black doesn't take the pawn, we are ready to play b3, and now instead of one problematic knight, there will be two problematic knights. So the position strategically will be very difficult. Now knight ac4 is the main move, and very nice insertion a4 before we grab light square bishop on a5, threatening a5. Main move is a5, although I have a coverage of three other moves. a5, we take knight f5, gf5, and we play rook e1. So very subtle move, but in fact this move prevents e6, where we ready to just regain the pawn with d6, fe6, knight c4, and rook e6, getting like very clear positional advantage with equal material. And we have somewhat a long-term compensation, but the point is that we can quickly mobilize the pieces towards the king side. And I think white position is very attractive. I believe it's pretty significant advantage. Just to give you an exemplary line here, for example, queen d7, we play bishop f1. So that's, in my opinion, slight improvement over bishop d3, which is also quite dangerous. Bishop d3, so queen h5, the key move, jump with the queen to h5, the square which is available after gf5, rook ac8, we jump queen h5, king h8, we play bishop g5 with tempo, pawn is hanging, e6, and rook c1. Very nice move. And this position appears to be very difficult, especially due to the fact that this pawn is untouchable. We play bishop b5, and there is a problem with the black queen. I believe, well, if it goes to c7, so I guess we'll have these tactics available. Knight e4, attacking the queen here, and then once the queen moves, knight f6 wins the game, because the threats are decisive. So that's basically a very powerful approach for white, in my opinion, and highly, highly recommended. Very also very annoying for black. I mean, I couldn't find really something that I would really believe that it's playable position for black, and hopefully it will be a great weapon if you are e4 player. Now, as always, some people already know, those who are subscribed, but I would like to remind you, if you want detailed PGN of this variation, please head over to my webpage, ask-avrukh.com. You'll find everything in the description, and you can download a very detailed PGN file. Now, if you are willing to do your own research, you already have all the right directions, which will save you a huge amount of time, because there are always, every move, there are so many choices. Now, guys, hopefully you enjoyed. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you hopefully very soon with the new publications.